Welcome to another episode of the Daily Chat Podcast, where we talk about all things awesome and nerdy. Alright, everybody, today we've got a review happening as per usual on the show, or maybe not for per usual, but, you know, we do this a fair amount, and by we, I mean myself and the Italian stallion, Dan Tundis.
Hey.
What's going on, Dan?
Oh, this, that, and the other.
This, that, and the other. Alright, so what we're going to be doing today is we will be reviewing an episode. Not an episode, excuse me. We will be
all the episodes. We're reviewing all the episodes.
All the episodes of DareDevil, Season 3.
Booyah!
Dan, would you mind doing the honors and summing it up for us real quick?
Sure. This is Season 3. The Kingpin is back. Matt Murdock is going through a crisis of faith. Should he be Daredevil? Should he even be Matt Murdock? Foggy and Karen have no idea if he's alive or dead. All the while, the Kingpin is leveraging the FBI for not just what they know, but to become a overlord of the New York City crime families.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, there's a lot more going on. We're going to delve more into it as we get
Oh, and Bullseye.
And Bullseye, yeah. Bullseye's in it too, yeah. Bullseye may have been the most interesting aspect of the entire season as far as I'm concerned.
I think definitely that character in and of itself, as far as an introduction, I mean, kind of like how we got the Punisher last season, who was a character that, he was definitely a fan favorite, and everyone was kind of like engulfed in the Punisher, because it's a goddamn Punisher.
I just remember Season 2, every time Frank Castle was not on screen, I was like, where the fuck's the Punisher? Why aren't you showing me more of the Punisher?
Right, yeah. I agree, and it's funny because I actually went back and started to rewatch The Punisher, Season 1, and I have the exact same feelings about that just while I'm watching The Punisher. Anytime anybody else is on screen, I'm like, I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It's like, I just want to see fucking Frank Castle act like a Mortal Kombat character, and just start ripping people to pieces.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
He's pretty much Stryker.
Yeah, right.
Probably the worst Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he's up there. Stryker, I don't know. Stryker's a bit. Stryker.
He's just the male version of Sonya Blade.
Well, no. Here's the thing.
And worse. Well, and so much worse.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the reason why Stryker just sucks is because. Yeah, okay, I get it. He uses guns, and that makes sense, like, when you're in a fight to the death style tournament. But he's the only one with guns. Meanwhile, you got guys like Scorpion who are just, like, undead ninjas. Sub-Zero can freeze things just by looking at it. Like, he's just lame. Like,
he's just got it.
There's nothing cool.
And there's something to be said about, like, fighting games where you have a gun that doesn't kill anybody instantly.
Exactly.
It's like, I shot you with a gun. How did I only do 13% damage?
13?
You hit me with your fist and you did 17% damage. That
makes no sense.
This math does not check out.
Exactly. But at any rate, getting back into it. So yeah, I'm going to lead off by saying first off that I think that this was definitely better than Season 2. Without a doubt.
I think that this is probably the best Daredevil has ever been. It's better than Season 2. I liked Season 2 a lot. The problem that I have with Season 2 was that there was so much in it. Season 2 could have been 2 seasons. Like, this could almost be considered Daredevil Season 4.
Yeah.
Because of how last season it was kind of like half Daredevil versus the Punisher, half Daredevil versus the Hand with Elektra and Stick.
Yeah.
Like, we very much got, like, the tale of two Matts.
Yeah.
Like, last season. This season felt really focused and really, like, finely honed, like Season 1 did, but we got over that initial, like, character explanation, backstory, hump that we had. Not just for Daredevil, but for literally everyone else in this world. For Foggy, for Karen.
Right.
Like, we did a lot in the first season to explain a lot. So, Season 3 of Daredevil definitely felt like the wheels were greased. It was hitting its stride. It felt really strong overall.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. The only thing... Actually, no, I don't think there's too much for me to really complain about in this season overall, because like you said, it was very streamlined, it was very tight, the story was much tighter.
Great writing all around.
Great writing.
Not just in terms of, like, narrative direction, but just, like, inner, conflict and communication between characters felt really authentic and very, very believable.
Yeah, exactly. And even the subplots didn't really seem to detract too much from...
Yeah, there weren't a lot of subplots. I mean, everything really fed into... I mean, Kingpin in and of itself is... I mean, he's just kind of an all hands on deck, all engrossing kind of a villain. You know what I mean? There's really no catching a breath from a guy like Kingpin because he's got his hands in so many different things.
Right, exactly.
He literally was affecting the aspects of everyone's lives.
In and around the story.
Around the story.
Even the most minor of characters.
Even the most minor of characters were being, affected very deeply and very, very heavily.
So in this, I want to say, the first season when we first get introduced to Kingpin, you kind of get an idea as to, how deep his organization runs.
Right.
How deep his organization runs. And
Don't say my name!
Yeah, exactly. How deep his organization runs and just... how much he can manipulate people. This season, it was whoa.
Yeah.
Seriously, whoa. First off...
This was the payoff.
Yeah, because, they hinted at it in the first season, but this season, it's whoa. First off, let's just start off with the big thing. He's manipulating people in the FBI.
Right.
How... Whoa.
And, judges and juries.
Judges and juries.
Companies.
People who are big and people who are very important to, the people who you wouldn't think he would manipulate.
Right.
It turns out, spoiler alert, he ends up manipulating Foggy's family.
Right.
Which honestly, that came out of left field for me. I did not see that coming at all.
You know what? I did not see that coming at all.
Oh, yeah, spoilers. We always forget to that.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I mean, I feel like... You know what? I completely agree. And, looking back on it, in retrospect, the introduction of Foggy's extended family and the brother who
would you even call that extended family? I call that family.
Oh yeah, it is just family. Yeah, it's his mom, his dad, and his brother, and their butcher shop. They had talked about the butcher shop or their grocer or whatever, however they actually decide to designate it. And they talked about it before, but when they introduced it, it didn't feel like sometimes it shows like that introduce something and you're okay, this is going somewhere. And you kind of... But, the way that was introduced, and it felt so organically folded into the story, I was oh, yeah, why wouldn't... It's Christmas. Why wouldn't he go over for dinner? Yeah,
exactly.
No, that's fine,
Or how about just the mere fact that he lives 2 blocks away?
And it wasn't as soon as Foggy showed up, his brother came up to him and was oh, I took some money from a bank that I shouldn't have and lied on the forms. That came, 5 or 6... episodes after they were first introduced, and we had gone back to those characters.
I think it was longer than that. I didn't think it was introduced because this was 13 episode season.
Yeah,
I don't think
it might have been season 1 and
that plot
episode
thread,
1 and
that
episode
plot thread
8.
I felt didn't get introduced until episode 9 or 8, you said. Yeah.
And so it was nice how things like that, kind of organically fell into place. One thing that didn't fall organically, at least for me, I already kind of knew this going in, so this may just be a me thing. I don't know. Maybe did you know this? Did you know Matt's mom was a nun?
Yes.
Okay. So but you knew that going in.
I kind of saw that coming.
But did you know that going in? Did you know that in the comics that Matt Murdock's...
When Matt Murdock, at the end of Defenders, when Matt Murdock is seen surrounded by a bunch of nuns in a hospital bed, I knew, they're going to introduce his mom.
Yeah, okay. So you already knew that. Because it
didn't throw me for a loop.
As soon as we started focusing on, one nun...
Yeah, I was
no, that's his mom.
Yeah, exactly.
I already knew that.
Yeah.
But okay.
But again, that's also one of those things though where we're just huge comic book geeks, so we knew it's kind of it's along the lines of why the last third act of The Dark Knight Rises really didn't surprise me all that much.
Right.
When they revealed who the child of Ra's al Ghul actually was the whole time.
Right.
I was oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, they were...
Ra's never had a son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, at least for The Dark Knight Returns, they did enough in that universe.
Rises, yeah.
Rises, rather. They did enough in that universe to kind of subvert your expectations. Mm-hmm. And knowing that Christopher Nolan had, creative control... Mm-hmm. That it might not have actually gone that way.
Yeah.
And, they did enough to make you actually kind of second-guess it. But you're right.
When it popped up, you're oh, yeah,
it's Talia. Yeah, that makes sense. No, I agree. That makes sense. Yeah. And I think it would have been, a mistake from the onset to, call her Talia. Because then, we all would have known.
Oh, yeah.
But it's how they never actually called Catwoman. She was just Selena the whole time.
Right, exactly.
Catwoman.
Selena or Miss Kyle, if you want to be proper.
Miss Kyle, yeah, or Miss Kyle. Kind of like how we did here with Deadpool. With Bullseye.
Bullseye, yeah. Deadshot, yeah. No.
Well, because I was saying Poindexter, and
yeah.
I just got Poindexter, Deadpool.
Yeah, and I just said Deadshot, come on.
Yeah.
But I actually think everything that happened with Deadshot was actually the more interesting aspects of the season.
Deadshot?
Bullseye.
Okay. All right.
Same fucking character. Yes and no. Yes and
yes,
no.
I mean,
Deadshot's a blatant ripoff of Bullseye, or Bullseye's a blatant ripoff of Deadshot. In terms of they're both guys who really know how to aim. That's what I mean.
You know, I always felt like Taskmaster and Deadshot.
Yeah, but Taskmaster's specialty isn't guns. His is hand-to-hand combat.
His specialty is photorealistic memory.
Yes.
Which just makes him good at everything.
Yeah.
Kind of like how... Or, like, I guess Deathstroke and Deadshot would probably be, like, the most...
Yeah, but they're both in the same universe, so that's the thing.
Yeah, and they're both terrible.
I like Deathstroke.
Yeah, but yeah, well...
The unfortunate thing about Deathstroke, though, is now at this point he's overshadowed by his own ripoff.
Right.
Yeah. Deadpool. Yeah.
Right.
But
anyways, Bullseye, who's never actually referred to as Bullseye.
No. The closest thing we get to his little logo is in a flashback scene when he's a little kid and he puts the baseball cap on and it's got the logo.
Yep. That kid should have gone to the majors, man. That kid, you know, all right, so you know what's funny? Someone on the Daredevil subreddit did the math, spoiler alert, of how fast and or hard you would need to throw a billy club to puncture someone in the chest, right? Now, this, like, his math is based off of the billy club being made out of aluminum, which I don't necessarily agree with. I don't see it as aluminum. Like, it always felt like it should have been, like, I don't know, maybe, like...
Lead?
No, I wouldn't say lead. I don't think it would make sense for it to be that heavy, but, like, steel with a ceramic center?
Okay.
Maybe, something like that? Like,
steel-plated... I'm not a wielder, so I'm not a blacksmith, so I don't know.
Wielder? You're not a welder.
Welder, excuse me. A welder.
Van Wielder?
Van Wielder.
Anyway, someone did the math at how fast you would actually need to throw a billy club to get it to puncture someone's chest. Like I said, it was based off of it being made out of aluminum. I'm not going to pull up the whole math thing because God bless him, he did like this whole spreadsheet. And I upvoted every single goddamn comic because I appreciate it. I don't remember your name, but like, thank you for this. You would have to throw a billy club made out of aluminum over like 575 miles an hour.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Because, like, what is the fastest... Hold on. Just for the sake of this thing...
Mathematically speaking, I mean,
That's impossible. I mean, it's a comic book.
Oh, no, it's totally impossible. It's absolutely impossible. I mean, everything that I mean, so is Matt Murdock's powers are also
exactly.
impossible.
So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and Elektra came back from the dead. So,
exactly.
like, lots of things are impossible in this universe. Iron Fist has a legit glowing hand. But yeah, you would need to throw it, like, whatever it was, like, 575 or over 500 miles an hour is how fast you would need to throw it. With like lethal velocity to puncture someone's chest, like in their sternum.
Okay, something's going on with my computer right now. Can you just please look up real quick the fastest recorded MLB pitch?
Oh, I already know. It's like 119.
119?
Yeah.
Someone threw a baseball 119 miles an hour. Okay,
yeah.
That's impressive enough in and of itself, but... Dude, and it's not only just that, though, but just stop and think about all the angles he was able to bounce the ball off of, everything off of.
Yep.
That's insane.
I know. It's absolutely... It's like the kind of accuracy... Oh, yeah, my internet's slow, too. What's going on, Time Warner? I paid the bill. Yeah, it'll come around.
It'll come around. At any rate.
Yeah. That kid should have gone to the majors. He could have started every night. He would win the Cy Young every year.
Cy Young, dude. I think at that point you're winning the MVP. You're pulling a
I think they're renaming the Cy Young for you.
Pretty much, yeah. But I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure if you do something like that, you are doing you're pulling a Justin Verlander and winning both the Cy Young and MVP.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna lose to the Red Sox twice in the ALCS.
He loves the number 3. He loves the number 3.
He does love the number 3.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna go unplug the router in a second because I'm gonna need this information webs to be working with me here.
You want me to I'll just pause it real quick.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So that aspect I really the one episode that I really the episode I liked the most was definitely the one where we just delve.
Oh, sorry, real fast. As a correction, the highest clocked MLB fast pitch was 105 miles an hour.
105. I was about to say 119.
I thought it was on 19. I might have read something else that was thrown 119.
Yeah. Still, though, like, that's faster than most cars, like.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that the human arm can do that is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I liked about Bullseye? We still got, kind of, because it's the same way in the comics. He's got a very like kind of like Killing Joke kind of origin in that like he doesn't really have one, you know. And I like that we kind of got that out of Bullseye, you know, like the origin story. Like it wasn't really an origin story. Like his episode I think was one of the marquee episodes of this season. Like,
yeah, definitely.
there were like I thought
it was chilling.
I thought that there were like better episodes, but only by very slightly, and only because they directly served the plot. I think if you take like a slice out of this season as an example of like the Netflix Marvel shows just being great pieces of television, like this Bullseye episode is the one like that I would show.
It actually gave me chills.
There was the kind of stuff where I look at it and I go like, you know, I mean, like Emmy writing award, like this actually might work. Like that might be great. I don't think that the actor that played Bullseye was necessarily fantastic, but also like he played Bullseye as like emotionless, except for like those moments of like extreme rage.
Yeah, which is even in the comic,
which in and of itself is so difficult to do. So like the fact that I was very like unmoved by his performance, I feel like as a person in real life, I would be unmoved by his emotion. So that's probably a credit to him.
Here's the thing, though. That's the point. That's
the point.
That's kind of why I thought he did a good job, to be quite honest with you, is because, like, he has no emotions.
Right, so maybe I worded that poorly. Like it felt like there was no range because that person
that type
has
of person,
no range.
Yeah, exactly.
They're one note.
Like, it's like, honestly, one of the more haunting scenes, actually, for me was, this is towards the end, is when Matt Murdock, or as Daredevil, has that legitimate phone conversation with him and is just basically like, yeah, I remember hearing that interview with your therapist about talking about how you killed the birds.
Right.
And you know what the thing is? I know. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel the same after that. You got to find the more extreme thing after that. So it's like, yeah, like, he's really delving in. Like, that's the one thing about, like, in the comic books, one of the more prominent scenes I remember of Bullseye is, and this is leading up to one of the more famous Deadpool fights.
When he killed the pregnant lady with the toothpick?
I wasn't going to get into that. I didn't know he did that, but okay.
Oh, yeah, he did that.
I'm sure he did.
He did.
Yeah.
I
remember in the movie, that movie with Colin Farrell where he takes, like, 5 or 7, like, paper clips and just...
Okay. All right. So, I you know me. Mm-hmm. I defend that movie to the death.
Right.
I will die on that rock.
Yes,
I will die on that rock. It's a bad movie. I make no claims that it is not a bad movie.
Right.
It's a bad movie.
Right.
Now, that being said,
Colin Farrell's the best part of that movie.
The scene where he's on the airplane and that woman is snoring next to him and he takes the peanut and he flicks it and like off the thing and it chokes and it kills her. Like,
she wasn't snoring, she was yammering. She was chewing his ear off. He wanted her to shut up.
That's right.
He wanted her to shut the fuck up.
And and that to me was just like, so it just really like characterizes how little he
values
has regard for human life.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally
agree. Like, not only is he like insanely talented, he's insanely crazy.
He's insanely insane.
Which is Bullseye.
Well, here's the thing. There's the one scene in this particular comic book run. It's the not the secret. It's like right after the Secret Invasion story. What was that called? Dark Reign.
Dark Reign. I love Dark Reign. He's Hawkeye.
It was the Dark Reign story arc, and Osborn sends Bullseye as Hawkeye to go kill Deadpool, and he offers him a boatload of money, in which Hawkeye or Bullseye looks directly at Osborn and says, "I have more money than you for doing all these hits. I don't do these hits for." He straight up says, "I don't do these hits because it pays the bills. I do these hits because it's fun."
Right.
He's insane. Like, he legitimately does not care.
Right.
And long story short is, the way this story arc ends is there's like a 3-issue fight between Deadpool and Hawkeye and Bullseye as they're just trying to kill each other left and right. Like, they're going through everything. They're going through like giant open fields trying to kill each other. They're in close quarter combat in like in a butcher shop. There's one part where like Deadpool actually has a meat hook right at his throat, and finally, right before Deadpool snaps his neck, he says, "Osborn will pay you." And of course, it's not really Osborn who pays him the money that Deadpool is owed, because side note, like, Osborn fucked over a contract job for Deadpool. That's a whole other story. He pays Deadpool and then some just to spare his life.
Right.
Yeah. So in the comic books, like, they really emphasize just how crazy, and like, you know, his more infamous scene where he takes Elektra's own side and stabs her with it. That look on his face as he's doing it is just insane. Like, you can tell how much he's enjoying it.
Yeah, what's the quote that he says? I was actually reading that issue, that comic run, like, the other day. He's like, and I think he actually says it in the movie. He's like, "You're good, Toots, but I'm magic." Right. And then, like, he stabs her. Yeah. And it's just that kind of, like, that laissez-faire, I don't really give a shit, I'm just gonna kill you anyway. I mean, they did, like, a solo run of Bullseye comics not long ago. Marvel released them. I don't remember who wrote them. But the whole storyline pretty much involves, like, Bullseye agreeing to take a job to, like, get back, like, the son of a mobster to a New York crime family who's been kidnapped down to South America, and, like, pretty much, like, goes down there and just starts, like, literally walks into a mercenary bar. He's like, "Hey, I'm Bullseye. I'm here to get that kid's son. I'm gonna kill all you. Go tell all your friends." Like, there's no, like, clandestine note in this dude's book. Like, right. None. He just walks into an environment. He's like, "I'm Bullseye. I'm gonna kill you. I'll probably kill you. Tell your friends so they can come over and try to kill me, but I'm gonna kill them also." Like, he's just absolutely fucking bizarre. Right. I love that we got this, you know, I love that the way that we did this villain. I love that we got, like, a really weird, not weird, but, like, we didn't get, like, a backstory. You know, like, we have a backstory for Karen Page. We'll talk about that. We got a backstory for Matt Murdock. We even have a backstory for Elektra. We didn't really get a backstory for Dex.
We kind of did. It was brief.
It was brief. We got instances of his life. We got moments that he did something, like, terrible. Like, we got, like, kind of some formative information, but I have, like, no information on, like, really, like, who this guy is, where he comes from, like, what he did with his life. Like, he worked at a suicide hop. He worked in the military.
Well, he used to be in the military, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like, he did, but, like, getting through all those steps, you know what I mean? Like, I know everything that happens in Matt Murdock's life. Yeah. I pretty much know everything that happened in Karen Page's, too. Yeah. You know, but, like, Bullseye and, like, you know, Kingpin also. You know, I have a lot of information on, like, Kingpin's life and, like, how Kingpin became Kingpin. I know a lot about Kingpin's dad and his mom.
How we don't know anything about his wife. We don't know much about his wife, actually.
Oh, Vanessa?
We know nothing about Vanessa, because, like, what I want to know is...
That shit crazy, yeah.
Yeah, she's fucking just as psychotic as the rest of them.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I really didn't realize that until this season, and I feel like I should go back and watch season 1 and be like, oh yeah, that's right. Because I remember watching it being like, because I know in the comics that she becomes, like, a pretty big deal for Winston and, like, that like, you know, New York crime
family
situation.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, watching this and being like, oh yeah, that's right, she's fucking batshit too.
Yeah, like, she has no qualms with just straight up saying, yeah, kill Agent Nadeem.
Maybe we should kill this guy.
It wasn't even maybe. It was just like, we should.
Don't you think it's a better idea? I like how she phrased that. It's like, don't you think it's a better idea he's dead? It's like,
yeah. And it's like right after he has this whole meltdown of saying, like, how he doesn't want her to get her hands dirty. And she's like, no, I don't give a shit. I'm fine with that. That's cool. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, like, one of the... Oh, and that also reminds me, too, like, one of the bigger themes we have to deal with is Matt Murdock's morality crisis. Do I, don't I kill the Kingpin, which...
We all knew that was never going to happen.
No, we knew it wasn't going to happen. And I'm not going to... Look, here's the thing. Daredevil finding a way to leverage the Kingpin, okay, I'm okay with it, but here's my thing, and, like, we talked about this. Like, when it comes to the FBI agents who are getting blackmailed... First off, you find out that all your other FBI agent friends are being blackmailed by the Kingpin. You know what my first thought is?
Shoot him in the head.
Shoot him in the fucking head.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, like, do you think any of those FBI agents who have been leveraged, who've had their children killed by Kingpin, do you think any of them are gonna fucking rat you out? I wouldn't. If I were one of them, and
not only that, but you're definitely in this kind of situation as like an FBI, and this was kind of one of those dangling plot threads that you could kind of see through.
Yeah.
This is definitely kind of one of those situations that, like, even as an FBI agent in, like, their custody, like, it's not like he's locked up in the tower somewhere and he's surrounded by his own personal guards.
No, he's locked up by them.
You have 24-hour access to him. You could, like, walk in. You have your gun. He doesn't have any guns. Like, you can walk into his room and shoot him in the head. And you could do this whole thing on videotape. And as long as the other FBI agents that were like working
aren't corrupt. They're just being blackmailed.
You want the ones that are corrupt to be there and working and to see everything, because you could walk in, shoot the guy in the head, and be like,
you don't want the
I
ones
shot
that
him. Can you guys delete the videotape? Be like, oh yeah, no, that guy's trying to kill my daughter. Like, I don't give a shit.
No, you don't want the ones that are corrupt. You don't want the ones that are like, oh yeah, sure, I'm gonna do this because it's gonna get me more money. It's more like you want the ones that are like, oh yeah, so my family's now fucking safe. Like,
right. I want the ones that are corrupt to be working there with me, so that way when I shoot him in the head, everyone goes, yeah,
oh,
no,
that's what you meant. Yeah,
I'm gonna cover for you. I'm gonna delete the videotape. I don't know what happened. Some rando just walked in here and shot him in the head. Sorry, J. Edgar Hoover. I know he's no longer the head of the FBI, but
in fact, he's been dead for a while.
I know. Yeah, like he hasn't been alive in my lifetime. But still, I like to think that like his ghost
right.
in drag runs the FBI.
In drag.
In drag, yes.
Now I'm just picturing J. Edgar Hoover wearing a dress, like.
I mean, he was always like people picture him wearing a suit. That's not true. That's a fiction. He was always wearing a dress.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was a weird fucking guy.
That's a whole nother podcast. It sounds like
that would be a fun podcast.
Yeah, that's always the one thing though that bothers me though about just these type of things where like there's always that one little loophole. Like, if, at the very least, you got to find a way to cover it up. Like, why didn't any of the FBI agents try to kill him?
I mean, you know, it's one of those ones that like you and I think about, and it's not really that compelling of a thread to have to pull. Mm-hmm. Like, you know the reason why they're not just going to shoot him in the head, and it's because they know that, like, they would go to jail, and, like...
I'd go to fucking jail to protect my family.
I would. That. But, like, there's also no guarantee that, like, one of his lieutenants doesn't, like, step in and fill his shoes and then has you killed just as retribution and example. Mm. You know, so...
the Kingpin didn't look like he trusted a lot of people.
He pretty much had, like, 2 people that he kind of trusted.
It's like Wesley and Vanessa.
Well, there was Wesley, and then there was, like, the...
Because he didn't trust Dex.
No.
He did not trust Dex.
And I was going to say the new Wesley, but, like, Poindexter, like, he tried to
fill the
position himself, which is, like, but it was, like, that English guy that they had.
Yeah.
Like, whatever that guy.
The bodyguard.
It was, like, Maxwell or something.
Maxwell something.
I don't remember his fucking name. Like, it felt like Kingpin, like, kind of trusted him. Not entirely, but enough to put Vanessa in his hands.
The only thing, he trusted, and, like, that was pretty much his only saving grace, which was, like, because there's that one scene...
Yeah, that was the only reason why he pretty much didn't fucking kill him right there.
Yeah, because, like, there's that one scene where like...
he didn't actually...
There's the scene where his bodyguard... They're riding in the car, and his bodyguard says, they failed to kill Karen Page. Dex failed to kill Karen Page. And then he says, give me your coat. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as he said, give me your coat, I'm like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're going to do. And he did it.
Someone explain to me how Kingpin... A guy who not only murders people, but likes food as much as he does. Why is he always wearing white? Like, I can't even keep a fucking white t-shirt clean.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Not for nothing, but, like, I won't buy anything that's fucking white. Anything white that I buy, I look at it and I go, oh, this is really nice. It's gonna get dirty in, like, a week. Like,
exactly. A week?
Yeah, like...
Try 5 minutes.
I've got white shoes over there, like, that I wear maybe, like, once every other month. And I come home and, like, some fucking asshole who just, like, stepped in a puddle of fucking Frank's Red Hot sauce stepped on my laces. And I'm like, well, no.
They're done.
You know, there were some characters that I legitimately miss from this show now. Mm-hmm. Like, I miss Scott Glenn. Stick? I know he's dead. But, like,
yeah.
I
don't like how Stick got killed, either. I thought it was very unceremonious.
It was. I miss Stick, Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
You know, I miss...
Why wasn't she in the season?
She pretty much, like, made it clear after the Defenders.
Yeah.
That, like, she was good. She was all set.
I mean, she was in Luke Cage.
She was in Luke Cage.
Season 2.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, she's kind of done. Mm. I don't think that she like, it was cool to have her as, like, kind of the
thread that held everything.
She was
the Nick Fury, basically.
She was the Nick Fury of, like, this
Netflix that is true.
Marvel universe, which was, like, cool. But, you know, I totally respect the decision to, like, not be so involved, because I think it also...
There kind of wasn't a need for her.
Yeah, and you also have to be able to have, like, another character to be able to kind of step in and fill that role.
Which
like,
we got with
we got with Matt Murdock's mom, Nun. Which was a really interesting, as far as character backstory episodes, which we were talking about. That one I thought was done, like, really well.
It was done pretty well.
Like,
especially because it was quick. Like, they didn't delve into it too much.
It was quick.
It was like a 10-minute scene or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was done over, you know, they did, like, the whole, you know, she's a nun, the love affair with the boxer. We got, a couple of scenes with her as the kid, and then
Postmortem depression.
Yeah,
is it postmortem?
Postpartum.
Postpartum. Postmortem means you're dead.
Postmortem means you're dead.
Yeah. Postpartum depression. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Partum. Partum.
Partum. Excuse me.
Partum.
Yeah. Okay. That thing you mentioned.
Yeah.
baby get born.
Baby sad. Baby sad disease.
Baby sad disease. We'll go with that. Yeah.
Not sad baby disease, but baby sad disease.
Baby sad disease. Yeah,
which is fucked up. Like, I felt...
I mean, you know what happens, but you don't really see that delved into too much on TV these days. At all, really.
No, and I felt badly for her. Like, she was, that sucked.
Yeah.
As far, and we were going to talk about this with, like, Karen's episode of, like, backstory.
I think that could have been...
That was an example of something that I didn't give a shit about. And I honestly don't think we needed.
It's not a matter of I didn't give a shit about it. It's just a mere matter of I don't think it needed to be as long as it was.
It was Gretchen's lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Do you think we won?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Like, if it was just straight up, Karen's getting involved with a drug dealer when she was like 18, 19 or whatever it was. She gets involved with a drug dealer. And then, blah, 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 blah. While she's fucking coked out and drunk off her ass, she gets into a car accident, her baby brother dies.
Right.
That didn't need to be 40 minutes of a 55-minute episode.
That's what I mean.
If it was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That episode, I mean, it was a good character study for the kind of motivations, and there was that really heartbreaking scene early where Karen Page is on the phone with her dad.
Yeah, that was like...
that was fucked. Like,
that was so heartbreaking.
But, like, that's
what you do, Karen.
Oh, God.
That hit me.
Oh, I know.
That hit me right
I know.
in the heart.
I was watching... I remember watching that, and I did like an audible gasp and like clutched the pearls.
Right.
Exactly. I was like, oh, no.
Exactly.
It's like, you can't know. It's like, Daddy, no.
To your own child.
To your own child, no.
How dare you? How could you do such a thing?
My Lord. Like, I did. I full on like clutched the pearls. Like, like
Southern Belle.
Oh yeah, no. Like, I got the vapors. Like, I that broke my fucking heart.
I'm all verklempt.
But like,
talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'll give you a topic. Internal bus convention.
Somehow that episode like took the edge off of that scene for me. In that, I kind of looked at it going back and like I thought it was better knowing that like. Like Karen Page, like she made mistakes. She's trying to get better. Like I didn't need to know what mistakes she made. You know what I mean? Like her being a tortured character and like needing to strive to put the pieces back together and to be better was something that like came through enough in like her dialogue and her presentation as a character that it felt like that episode like cheapened it. Because I kind of looked at it and I was like, oh, well, you were a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like...
I kind of get that.
I think it was better when it was like, I could kind of like put the pieces together in my imagination and be like, oh, she made some mistakes. Like, I don't know what she did, but like...
Well, they kept on hinting the fact that she used to have a brother. I'm like, oh, so you killed your brother some way, somehow.
Yeah, I think it was in, it was in, I know it was in this season that they talked about it. I know they talked about it in season 1.
I think it was Wesley that brought it up in season 1.
Yeah, it was Wesley that brought it up in season 1, which is why Wesley got shot.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing
part
about,
of the reason why, other than that, he was straight up threatening her life.
And he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And like I just felt like I don't know. I thought for the most part that episode I was kind of bored with the pacing of it because I kind of knew that we were eventually getting to the part where
she kills her brother.
Yeah, or either she kills her brother or she just does something like so shitty that she needs to like leave home, like leave town,
or get kicked out.
Either or,
she basically did.
It felt like I already knew that culmination, and it came at a really weird time in the season.
It did. It came because the season before it ends on the note of Daredevil needs to get back to the church in order to save her life.
Right.
That was the problem with it. If that, I honestly think if that came at like as episode like 3 or 4, I don't think we'd be as pissed off at it.
Like if it came on the coattails of the confession that she killed. I mean, it did really come on the confession that she killed Wesley, but it came at the confession that she killed Wesley to
Kingpin.
To Matt Murdock.
Foggy. She told it to Foggy first.
Yeah, she told it to Foggy first, but that's where I think that would have fit better.
Yeah,
like in the narrative.
Exactly. I think
she killed Wesley. Like she's trying to make up for past deeds. Like this is why I came to New York. Like it felt like it would have made more sense there than just in terms of like pacing. Because I also think that, like, part of the reason why I was kind of, like, bored by that episode, where I was like, yeah, but how the fuck do they get it at the church?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I was like, we got bigger things. They got the
five-
dogs.
It's like we're
You're
5
looking all
minutes
over for
away.
people.
We're 5 minutes away from the climax. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Why are you doing this to me now?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. Like I said before, if
It felt like the cold shower in the middle of things. You were like, okay, this is great, but we can talk about it later, Karen.
if this was like episode like 4 or anywhere between like 3 and 5, I would
Yeah.
be like, okay, I'm fine with this. But you know what else it did for me too, though? It actually kind of pissed me off a little bit because it just showed me how little she's learned since that mistake. Because, you know, during the season, there's that one part where she confronts Kingpin, tries to get him all emotional to confess something to her by saying that she killed Wesley. And, like, you have clearly learned nothing. And then, like, what really pissed me off about it, too, was she tells Matt why, you know, Bullseye's after her. Why the Kingpin's specifically after her right now, trying this hard to kill her when the FBI has the whole church surrounded. She tells him this, and he's like, no, you did it because you're, like, he's trying to, like, comfort her, make her feel better. I'm like, I'd look her dead in the face like, you're a fucking dumbass.
I mean,
You're a fucking dumbass.
yeah, I see your point, but I think that all of the characters, and it was a really interesting thing, because this is ultimately how we got to the Matt Murdock is going to kill Kingpin moral dilemma, was that they were at their end of the rope. Like, they tried everything. You know what I mean? They tried, you know,
They tried the law.
They tried the law. They tried, you know, Foggy's trying to run for DA to leverage the cops to make the sitting DA do something. The FBI is stuck. They're just not able to gain any fucking traction. You know, so I definitely see. I agree. That was a dumb fucking move, and everybody knew it was a dumb fucking move.
Yeah.
Karen knew it was a dumb fucking move.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, they just weren't gaining traction anywhere, and they just felt like they needed to make a crack somewhere in the facade. So, like, I get it. I don't agree with it. It's nothing I would ever do. But I also don't live in a world where you can get superpowers from having
By being blinded by chemicals.
it was
By Rand chemicals.
Yeah, that's true.
It was Rand chemicals.
It was.
Yeah. The big thing, though, speaking of Rand, I want to say this right here, right now. The fight scenes throughout this season were, whoa, they were awesome.
That prison fight scene. What was that, like 22 minutes of an uncut fight scene?
Which one? The one where,
The
like...
prison fight scene, where, like, Matt's, like, going through the prison, and that's where he meets, like, the Albanian...
Yeah. That was
like
awesome.
That was, like, a 22-minute uncut, like, one camera shot. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was one of your favorites, too.
Oh, yeah.
Hallway fight scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love me a hallway fight.
Yeah.
Always. I'm always just looking to get into hallway fights now.
I'm more of a kitchen fight guy, but whatever.
Yeah.
Just because, like, with a kitchen, there's more things that can kill you. There's way more things that can kill you in a kitchen.
But a hallway fight scene just looks better.
It does.
Aesthetically, I'm all for it. You know, you can play with the lighting in a bunch of different ways.
And another big thing too, that I always love about the Daredevil fight scenes, and I've seen videos where they talk about it, is they are the most realistic looking in the sense that you can actually see people getting fatigued.
That was actually one thing that I found has gotten so much better over the course of Netflix shows in general. Because season 1 Daredevil was not like that at all. Like,
There was that one major hallway fight scene.
yeah, there was-
the big hallway
there's
fight
like a
scene where he
little
saves the little kid.
Yeah.
He was really tired by the end of that fight.
There's
You
like
could
a
tell.
little bit of it, but I noticed particularly after Punisher season 1, where this like sense of like real gritty realism, like after like the first 4 punches land, like people are slow to get up.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like the Marvel movies where you get rocketed across a field. Like, I'm gonna get real mad if you throw another moon at me.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Like people, like, they're fucking hurt.
Yeah, they're hurt.
Like,
They're hurt big time.
Like, Christ, because you know, like, if you took a couple good shots to the head, like, it hurts.
It gets dizzy.
A lot.
You get dizzy. Like,
Yeah.
I've never been concussed before, but I can imagine.
I've had 3 concussions.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
you know better than me. So, like, yeah.
Like, they fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It's disorienting
I mean,
as all
like,
hell.
I had a little I've had a little brother. My brother is actually... You've
You've given him concussions.
I've never given him a concussion, but I've definitely punched him in the head, and he's punched me in the head before. It hurts.
Yeah.
They're not proud of those moments. We were little kids at the time, but, like... And anybody who's had a brother knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
So, all right, this is gonna sound gross, but you know, like one of the most satisfying moments of this whole, like, speaking of hallway fights and people getting actually like hurt.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the most satisfying moment for this. This is so gross, but like when Matt Murdock like couldn't hear out of his ear.
Yeah.
And then, like, has that big fight where he just gets, like, absolutely wrecked. And then he, like, goes and, like, blows his nose and, like, that huge fucking blood clot just, like, comes out. But then, like, suddenly he can,
out of the neti pot.
And then all of a sudden, like, he can hear again. Yeah, out of the neti pot. And suddenly he can, like, hear again. And, like, that just looked like it felt so satisfying. Like, you know, when, like,
out of your nose.
Like, you know, when, like, you've been sick for a while and, like, finally your ear pops and, like, you get your equilibrium back and you're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know, like, or, like, after a flight and your ear pops and, like, just that feeling, like, that just felt like it must have been so satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's gross, but I was just like, oh, thank God for that.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Me too. Honestly, me too.
I don't think I've been...
And there's blood all over the sink.
Oh, like, I know.
Oh, first off, that was a lot of blood for, like, just blowing your nose, by the way. That was
a blood clot.
Yeah.
That was a fucking blood clot. Like, that was like, no, I mean, it's like why you go to an ENT, like ear, nose, throat doctor, because it's all connected. That was just, its entire nasal cavity was just filled with fucking blood clot. Yeah. That's what that was, a big chunk of,
Ugh.
I know, but it felt like it felt so
It looked like it felt good, yeah. Actually, you know what? I think my favorite fight scene was actually they did not disappoint this time with the final fight scene.
Oh, the Muay Thai ropes.
The Muay Thai ropes. I just meant the Bullseye versus Daredevil versus Kingpin versus Daredevil versus Bullseye. That whole circle. Oh, I thought that scene was fucking brutal.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this. You don't get a lot of these in Marvel.
A 1v1v1?
No, you get a lot. You get a lot of group fights. You know, you get like 5-on-5 or like
one. At the bottom line, it's the ratio turns out it's 1-on-1.
Right. At the end of the day, it's good versus evil. You know, like that's what you get. But like this one, and I mean, it was definitely good versus evil versus more evil. I'll let you decide who's evil and more evil between Kingpin and Bullseye. I don't know. I'm not gonna call it. You can. But like it was interesting to have this like 3-way fight going on. You don't get a lot of those.
No, you don't.
Where like they're all vying for. Mm-hmm. You know, I agree. I love that fight scene. I hated Matt's monologue. The city rejected you. Oh yeah, I beat you.
You know what it felt like? Honestly,
it just felt like.
You know what it legitimately felt like to me? It felt like the slightly better version to the monologue Ben Affleck gave at the end of the movie.
Yes.
It felt I'm watching this and like, this feels very familiar.
Yeah.
This feels incredibly familiar. I'm like, no, you put him in the dirt. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I'm very.
I always knew he was never gonna kill him.
No,
like,
me too.
That was never.
Me too, because he's fucking Catholic. Ugh.
Yeah. Everyone can always get forgiveness.
No, fuck that.
That's how it works.
Some people need to die. Like, I'm just saying.
The Catholic Church for a few hundred years would agree with you. I said the Catholic Church for a few hundred years would agree with you.
The last few hundred years.
Well, maybe not like the last 100 years, but like the 800 years prior to that.
I'm saying anything before the Crusades. Maybe anything before the Crusades. But at any rate.
I'm saying everything from like the Holy Roman Empire until about like 1860.
Okay, well, fine, whatever.
Probably.
All right. Well, we can get into this debate later. But the one thing that does kind of confuse me though is, or I hope we get an answer to this and we can delve into a little bit more about this in a minute. But the moral of the story is like, I don't understand why Fisk would want to fix Dexter's back, Poindexter's back.
I don't think he did.
He did. The surgeon, when he was working on him, said Fisk knew the risk.
I thought he said the patient knew the risk.
Oh, he said the patient knew the risk?
I thought he said Fisk. I thought he said the patient knew the risk.
Regardless, how did Dex get there?
All right, so do you want to know something cool about that scene?
What?
All right, so the doctor that they referenced in that scene is Dr. Oyama. Yeah. Dr. Oyama is, in the comics, Lord Darkwind.
Who's Lord Darkwind?
You probably don't know who Lord Darkwind is. Not many people do because he's obscure as a motherfucker. But Lord Darkwind, Dr. Oyama, is the guy who perfected the technique of bonding adamantium to bones. Okay. His daughter, stay with me here, his daughter is Yukiro, a.k.a. Lady Deathstroke. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they might be hinting at we're getting the X-Men.
I don't know. I mean, that Fox merger is coming through. This is something we're going to have to discuss at the end of the episode. No, it is going through.
It's basically
January 1st, 2019 is when it becomes official. But for all intents and purposes, yes, it is going through. They did not call out, I think they called out like carbonadium and not adamantium or something like that, like some different, they did not call it adamantium. But when I heard that name, I was like, Dr. Oyama. I was like, I know that fucking name. So, went online, looked spoilers up on YouTube and stuff like that, and I was fucking right. I was like, I do know that name. And there was a reason for that scene and why they were, because actually, Deadpool, not Deadpool.
Wolverine?
I keep saying Deadpool. Fuck, no.
Bullseye?
Bullseye actually does have like an adamantium spine because he was paralyzed by Daredevil, like back in the Frank Miller days or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So is this opening up for a bigger universe? Is it likely that next season, Lord Deathwind tries to work to fill that power vacuum left by the Hand and Wilson Fisk? I don't know.
I wouldn't mind it.
Lady Deathstrike, she's actually an X-Men foe, so...
So maybe we can continue this discussion in 1 minute. You know what I say we do right now? I say we just wrap this up because I think we covered everything. Moral of the story is Daredevil wins.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Agent Nadeem.
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about Agent Nadeem.
No, because he was the FBI agent who got played like
big time,
huge,
more than.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, there was his boss who witnessed her child getting murdered.
Right. She sucked.
She did suck.
She sucked.
Not as an actress, just as a human being.
But I think Agent Nadeem, just like that character and that character's arc in this season, totally flawed, fantastic though.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's actually Jay Ali, phenomenal. Mm-hmm. He did an absolutely out of the park because at the same time that you fucking hated that guy. You were like, but I get why he's doing it. Yeah. And then you'd have a scene where I really like that guy. And you'd be like, oh, what a fucking idiot. Yeah. You were always you just like he was on this constant roller coaster of emotions, this whole way through. I just thought, and he did it all with impeccable hair.
Yeah. That was the most amazing
thing. Perfect coiffed.
What did you compare him to?
Pompadour, Johnny Bravo-esque, right. Elvis, just whatever pomade that guy is using. It must come to the value of gold,
right?
Or was it really expensive? Is it turmeric that's the really expensive spice? I forget what the one that's valued at more than gold.
There's a spice that's valued more than gold.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, there is. It's not turmeric, but we didn't really delve into too much of him, but just to make it go real quick, his basic thing was he was the most played out of everyone. Saffron.
Saffron, that's what it was.
Yeah, right. Saffron is by ounce more expensive than gold. Yeah.
I remember watching what was that show, Chopped?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember watching one episode of Chopped where they gave them saffron, and some woman one of the chefs overused the saffron, and one of the judges was like, "You know this is the most expensive spice on the planet, right?"
Yeah, it's one of the most expensive things on the planet.
It's rare.
Yeah,
it's hard to find.
Right.
Yeah, but at any rate, the point I'm trying to get at is, his whole thing was first they took his sister-in-law's coverage. She had, what was it, cancer or something?
Yeah,
like
she had cancer.
She had cancer.
Fucking Fisk played the Long Kong on that dude.
They established that big time in Punisher season 2 when that scene in another hallway fight scene, which honestly my favorite hallway fight scene in all of Daredevil, just because of how brutal it was.
With the Punisher?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was nuts.
That was fucking nuts. Mortal Kombat all goddamn day long.
I'll give it to you. That one was fucking
nuts.
It's
just right before he has all the inmates try and kill Frank Castle, says, "I play the long game, Mr. Castle. Have a good day." He plays and he did play the long game.
He did. He really did.
It's up in the air as to whether or not there will be a season 4 of Daredevil, and we're going to talk about that in a second.
So now it's probably a pretty good time to talk about
Hold on. First, we got to finish our reviews. But the bottom line is, how do we know that what happened in this season isn't part of Fisk's long game? We don't know.
I mean, the man went through... I will say this about Wilson Fisk. He is excessively vain.
Yes.
That is without a doubt. If he has a character flaw, it's probably...
It's his vanity, which is the number one vanity of all superheroes.
I mean, he has lots of character flaws. He's a murderous, psychopathic mob boss, crazy man who wears white even though he kills people. He has a lot of flaws. I don't think that Wilson Games' long con involves him being humiliated at his own wedding and then takes a beating in front of his wife.
Right.
So, was his plan to eventually end up in prison again?
We don't know.
I kind of fucking doubt it.
Okay.
I just don't he did an awful lot of work to get out of prison for a relatively short amount of time. You know, I kind of wish that like sometimes shows would give you like calendar days and stuff like that. Like, not that I need to know, but like just kind of like some scope and frame of reference. Like, how long do you think the season of Daredevil like takes place? Like 6 weeks?
It's definitely it's. Let me put it this way: it's definitely less than a quarter on the fiscal calendar. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we had no season change, which I mean, it's a television show and they film it all at once, so you know, we can kind of suspend that. It definitely wasn't a full year. It definitely didn't feel like 6 months. I would say, 6 weeks at the minimum.
2 to 3 months at the max.
Yes, yeah.
I'm telling 3 months at the max.
I would say 3 months at the max.
Yeah.
I would say we're looking at something from like, you know, like springtime.
But then again, also in like comic books too, you never know how long a frame of reference is, even between from panel to panel. Sometimes, like it look like, unless it's straight up like panel 1 is like sun's all the way on the fucking east side of everything, and then all of a sudden the next panel is all the way on the west side.
Right. I mean, I don't concern myself too much with the, you know, chronology of a show like this, because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I think in like Game of Thrones, when like characters start moving around the map, like they
should definitely do
like
that.
fucking jetpacks. Like, that's one where I'm just kind of like, all right.
Yeah, that's kind of what my biggest problem with this past season of Game of Thrones was.
That a lot of people share your concern.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, it's one thing where they were like, oh, but she had like, how the hell was Khaleesi able to go all the way from, what was it, the south? I don't know where her castle was exactly, but I knew it was in the south.
Dragonstone.
Dragonstone. Yeah,
which is kind of about the middle of the island.
Still.
So like, if you're putting it like geographically, it would be kind of like the Outer Banks, South Carolina, and then she went to
Maine.
Maine. Well, I would say even further up than that. I would say like
Canada.
fucking
like Nova
Iceland.
Scotia.
Yeah, like Nova Scotia.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
like she.
And I get it.
That's like a fucking 6-hour flight.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I get it. Like, dragons are supposed to be like badass.
4.5 to 5. Yeah.
I get it. Dragons are supposed to be badass. It's supposed to do like magical things, but like, there's no way in hell a fucking dragon without a fucking jet propulsion system strapped onto its back was able to make that flight just in the nick of time to fucking save Jon Snow and his crew.
I mean, yeah, not only that, but like Homeboy like ran to,
that was the bigger one.
Like, ran to a castle and sent a raven that reached her, and then she got on her dragon, and then we are doing a completely new podcast now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But the point still stands. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up, because the Sox game starts in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, and we got to talk about something else. Yeah, go Sox. As we're recording this before Game 3 of the World Series. At any rate, I'm going to actually give this season, I'm going to go as far as to give this season an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, I'd say...
it has its problems, I will admit.
I'll give it an 8. I'm trying to be more stringent on my things.
I think part of it has to do with the fact, though, that...
I don't think I've ever rated a Netflix season yet.
No, we did with... not with
Defenders?
Disenchantment.
Oh, yeah, well, I meant Netflix Marvel, but
fair enough.
Yeah. What did I give Disenchantment? Whatever. It's better than Disenchantment.
Different shows altogether. We can get into that later.
Yeah, totally different shows. Yeah, I mean, like 7.5 out of 8. Definitely like falls
out
in
of 10?
That. Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's got. I will admit, though, I think
9 out of 11. No.
I think part of the reason why I'm ranking it so high, though, is because season 2 of Daredevil was, for all intents and purposes, it was good, but it was still a little choppy.
Yeah, that one gets
a little choppy.
That one gets like a 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10.
And then there's also the fact that I will die on this rock personally that Jessica Jones should have been 3 episodes at the least shorter.
Oh, I completely agree.
So
this one felt like it had the same amount. I think we could have. This one felt like it had the same, like the correct amount of episodes. I felt like we could have like trimmed some fat in some places.
I agree.
We maybe could have gotten it down. Like, I feel like if you,
I think the only episode we could have cut out was the Karen episode.
Yeah,
definitely.
There were. I mean, like in the first 3, we pretty much told the same story for like the first 3 episodes over and over again. It was like, oh, Matt's hurt. He doesn't know if he should come back and live life as Matt Murdock, but his friends still think he's alive. But the Kingpin has some plans brewing. That was like the first 3 fucking episodes for 3 episodes straight.
I'll give you that. But
so I felt like we could have trimmed the fat a little bit, not a lot. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could have whittled it down by like an episode and a half. Tops. 2 tops.
I'll go 2 tops.
I don't like, I'm saying like between like half an episode and an episode. Like, that's how much I think you could trim it down.
Yeah. I just think the story was tighter. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I totally agree, and I mostly agree with that point. But overall, the story was just tighter.
Yeah,
It was way
definitely,
tighter.
definitely.
And on top of that, too, I'm also comparing it against like all the other Netflix stuff that came out, like Iron Fist season 1.
Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and even the Defenders
They
were
paled.
all
They
too
paled.
long. All too long by...
Actually, I'm going to go as far as to say I think what do you call it? Defenders could have used 2 more episodes. I think it could have. I think it was.
It could have used 2 more episodes if they focused on better characters.
I agree. Okay, I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
I will agree with you on that one.
If you were just gonna throw 2 more episodes at me and you were gonna like stay on the status quo, I'd go, nah, you're cool. Yeah, that's right. Because Defenders was only like 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Luke Cage season 1. I haven't seen season 2 of Luke Cage yet.
Season 2 wasn't as good as season 1.
Yeah, Luke Cage. I felt like that show like. It was great up until
they got rid of Cottonmouth.
Up until Marsha Ali died. After that,
you lose interest.
I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I was like, he was arguably the best part of that show.
Yeah, and my problem with Jessica Jones season 1 is once Hope kills herself, it's like, okay, now we can start wrapping things up. 4 more episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one, Jessica Jones. Yeah, they went through like this whole Scooby Doo. Like, catch the bad guy got away, catch him again, bad guy got away. They did, like, it was after they did it twice, I was like,
fuck you.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck off. You can get that once.
Yeah.
You know, but like after twice, I'm like, well, obviously you're just inept. So I don't know why I'm
It's like you're clearly, like, you clearly wanted to wrap this up sooner, but then Netflix demanded more
You
episodes.
are neither super nor a hero. Thus, your submission to this genre.
Oh, and actually, one thing that I gotta say that's a massive criticism, and this just isn't for Daredevil, but this is just for, like, all other, like, shared universes in general, like the big movies, or even the Arrowverse to a certain point, or like whatever.
God.
Yeah, we can do a whole other episode on that later, which is coming soon. The moral of the story is, like, there's that one scene where Matt's mother looks at him and says, "Why don't you call your other friends who have superpowers?" He goes, "This is my fight, not this." Like, now you're just being stubborn. Now you're just fucking being stubborn. I can understand you not wanting to call, like, maybe Luke Cage, but Jesus Christ, or even Danny Rand. I can understand that because they're all the way, like, they're deeper into Manhattan. Like Danny lives in Midtown.
I think it just
Danny lives in Midtown,
which is literally a block and a half. Not even a block and a half. You're connected by Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like they're unaffected by the.
But it's not just that though. But Jessica Jones is in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
She's 5 minutes away on the not even on the subway. She could probably walk and make it to you in 10. Like,
I feel like the length of time between like Josie's Bar and Fogwell's Gym and whatever. Like the Nelson Family Grocery and Alias Investigation, they're all probably within like the same 3-block radius.
Like I can
like
I said, I can understand you not calling Luke Cage because he's all the way up in Harlem. Like that's like an hour on the train or something. How long is it on the train? You've lived in New York, guy.
What, from Harlem to
Hell's Kitchen? It's not that bad, right?
No, 20 minutes.
20 minutes on the train. Yeah.
I mean, depending on because you could take. I mean, depending on where you are in Harlem, because Harlem kind of stretches across the top. So if you're like west in Harlem, you can probably take the 1 all the way down, 1, 2, 3, all the way down.
Yeah.
If you are on the east side, you probably need to take like the A or B line and then make a transfer, probably at Lincoln Center, and then go down on like the 1.
So the bottom line is, it's like you're not more than an hour away. You're definitely.
Oh God, no! I don't even think you're an hour away if you're. I mean, depending on how. I mean, the MTA sucks. I mean, depending on the train schedules and when you catch them, like even if you were on like the utmost western side of Harlem, I would say you could probably make it to Hell's Kitchen inside of 40 minutes on a good day.
On a good day,
depending time of day and weather conditions,
exactly,
and
all that
kind of factors. But I'd say 40 minutes tops.
Yeah,
it's a quick ride.
Yeah. Okay.
Take an Uber.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, I felt like that scene would have been better if Matt just was like, I don't like them.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. If he's
I always got the impression out of the Defenders
that like Matt had like his nose up high.
Like Matt just fucking hated those people.
He didn't like them at all.
He didn't like them at all.
He thought they were inefficient.
Yeah.
Which they kind of were.
Brash.
Yeah. And they didn't think things through. Like, yeah.
Danny just had this whole bravado that Matt just.
I'm the Iron Fist.
Matt was not buying it at all.
I honestly think
he had no use for Jessica Jones because he saw right through that like tough girl
veil that she's
veil that she puts up, and he was just kind of like, you are. He even says it at the end of the show. He's like,
you're a fucking alcoholic.
Well, no, he says it at the end of the season where he's like talking to Karen Page, and he's like, you're way more reliable than Jessica Jones. So he's literally putting Karen Page up on a higher pedestal than
someone who can punch through a brick wall.
Doesn't even give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't even care. Doesn't even value that.
Yeah,
and like Luke Cage and Daredevil, I felt like never really had any.
They didn't have much of a relationship.
Any kind of relationship other than just kind of like.
We're in the same room.
Yeah, they had like this kind of like just kind of like dry banter back and forth, you know, where it was like, oh, like, well, you're a blind ninja, and he's like, and you're a bulletproof black guy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, it's like, and everyone was just kind of like shrugged and was like,
yeah, no,
right.
he definitely put himself up on a pedestal.
Yeah, I think that like Matt Murdock is more likely to call Frank.
Castle?
Yeah. I feel like anyone, like, if he needed someone reliable to get the job done, like, if he was really hard pressed, you know, I feel like Matt would call
the Punisher.
Probably not. Matt Murdock's not about killing people.
Yeah, but if he needed
it done, says he is. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not.
No, of course he's not. Which is
we didn't even talk about Herman Buzzsaw.
From what was Buzzsaw?
Guy that makes the suits.
Oh, right. Yeah,
He got fucked.
He got fucked. Poor guy, but...
Well, poor Herman. R.I.P. in peace. Or not. We don't know.
He's not dead. He's in prison. He got arrested.
Yeah, there was...
But he got arrested by the FBI.
There was a shot when Dex like got Julie's body out of that walk-in freezer, where there was like a bald guy with similar facial hair.
It could have been. I think it was him.
Could have been. Mm-hmm. It was like, you know, I'm definitely like 50-50 on it. Like,
right.
I think that they...
Which, by the way, we didn't talk about that. That scene was creepy as fuck.
Dude, when he had Julie in the front seat, he was like, that's Alex. He's one of the good guys. And he's just talking... Like,
he's talking to the dead body.
He's talking to a frozen corpse.
Yeah. And
it's not even like he's talking to a dead body. He's talking to a frozen corpse wrapped in plastic wrap.
Yeah, and that's kind of the scene that's just... supposed to establish
he's
gone.
Oh yeah,
he's gone.
He was so funny.
Society, he's left society behind. Like he's on Mars at this point. Like
yeah, it's So future, let's do this in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
The future of Netflix Marvel.
I think it's dead on Netflix.
You know. This is one of those really weird kind of scenarios where there is just, for something that's of such high profile, there is, like, no information out there on it.
Well, that's Disney.
No, I know. But, like, the Luke Cage, Iron Fist, dead.
Gone.
Jessica Jones, TBD. I would say the Defenders are dead. Mm-hmm. I would say that's a very safe
because that season was just so bashed.
That season was terrible. Yeah. I would say Jessica Jones is, like, is very TBD. Daredevil, if anything has hope for a season 4, I would say it's Daredevil. That said, I felt like the send-off that we got at the end of season 3... like,
I hated it.
Like, I know you hated it, and I don't disagree, but I watched that, like, and it was... I watched it before I knew that Luke Cage was canceled. So I already knew Iron Fist was canceled, which I was pretty much like okay with because that one was like
nobody liked.
That was the low hanging fruit. I was like, all right. I didn't think that like Netflix Marvel is in jeopardy yet. Okay, that's not my thought process. But I'm watching that scene and I'm thinking to myself, this feels like a series wrap up,
a series finale.
Here. You know what I mean? Like this is they all ride off into the sunset together, kind of like closure that I got out of that scene. So now, learning that Luke Cage has now been canceled. I'm very much like, I don't think we're going to get a season 4.
Maybe it's Thanos. That is my favorite. That is my favorite. I know we did an episode that trashes fan theories, but this one I actually like just because it makes too much sense.
I don't feel so good, Claire.
But I'm the immortal Iron Fist.
Right. When I was a boy.
My hope is that these shows aren't necessarily being canceled; they're just being dropped by Netflix, so that way Disney can pick them up when their streaming service comes out next year.
It's gonna be super weird, and I think the weird thing about it, because they're so layered, these shows, like these production companies between ABC, because ABC Productions has a heavy hand in these, because it's Disney.
Yeah.
Between ABC, Netflix, and then like
Marvel.
the showrunners, and like who can carry over onto shows on a new streaming service. like those I don't even pretend to know all of the language and like who can go where and what can transition.
The legalese, as I like to
and
call
like
it.
what actors have rights to continue on in the roles if they will want to, if they're even given the opportunity to, if this is kind of seen as like, I don't know that I called it a failed experiment, but an experiment that has like run its course and they're going to try and like bootstrap new IPs. I don't know, man. In my heart of hearts, I'm hoping for a Daredevil season 4 and a Punisher season 2. Everything else, I don't care about.
Right.
Even if we got like another like combo Daredevil Punisher season, you know, give me like a 6-episode mini series, you know, to wrap up any kind of like loose plot threads. Give me 3 of each. You know, give me 3 1 hour.
Right.
Whatever. I don't think it's gonna happen.
There is that one part of me that's really hoping that they're just trying to set up the Defenders to be in the movies, but like I'm not holding my breath on. I am really not holding my breath.
That'll never happen.
No, in fact, if anything, like the number one thing I think most comic book fans are clamoring for, even Vincent D'Onofrio is clamoring for, is a Spider-Man Daredevil team up to take down the Kingpin, which I think would be fucking awesome. I don't see it happening.
No, I don't think that'll happen. I don't think that first of all, like
Disney wants to maintain its image.
yeah, and street characters have okay. So with Spider-Man is kind of an outlier here, just because of his popularity.
Right.
But you and I have had this conversation before offline that street heroes have a really hard time transferring over to the cosmic scale problems. You know, like Captain America kind of gets
He has no business fighting Thanos. We've said it before.
Captain America has no business fighting Thanos, but but like more than just being like a good street hero, like he's a good tactician, like he's a team leader, he's a commander, he's someone that has the respect of the Avengers, like he leads a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about his power as Captain America, it's about his leadership role
as Steve Rogers.
Right.
Right.
Whereas like characters like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage.
Oh yeah, Daredevil,
Iron Fist. They just don't transition over into those cosmic fights. Spider-Man's the outlier, but they even talk about it in Homecoming where, you know, they're like, hey, you know, you got to kind of like play small ball and like handle
but I think the reason why they played the small ball angle with him so much is just because he's supposed to be like a 16-year-old kid.
No, true.
And I agree with that, but
but if it wasn't for core popularity behind Spider-Man, you would never see Spider-Man in an Avenger. Spider-Man is so outclassed. He literally got a new suit just to be able to kind of like
find space.
Hold up. Yeah.
Well, here's the funny thing, though, and I get what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with it at all. It's just the thing with Spider-Man, though, versus Daredevil, not so much Jessica Jones and, like, Luke Cage and stuff like that, but particularly him versus, say, Daredevil is he can lift a fucking city bus.
Right.
He, at least when he gets older, they've talked about this in the comic books and stuff, where when he's younger and when he first started out, he couldn't do that stuff because, like, his part of his powers also had to grow with his body.
Sure.
So now in the comic books...
He went through puberty.
Yeah, exactly. Now that he's like in the comic books and he's pushing 30, and he's been pushing 30 for the past 25 years...
Probably longer.
Yeah, probably longer. He's pushing... The bottom line is like, he's like... let's just for all intents and purposes say he's 30. Flat out 30. Now he can do it because he's done growing, his powers are developed, he knows what his body's capable of. Mm-hmm. When he's like 16 years old, like, yeah, I get it. But, like, I totally agree with you. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that he's so popular, he's the number one selling superhero in the world, he wouldn't be there. Like, every time there's a Marvel crossover event, he's there. Even though there's no reason for him to be there. Like, the Secret Invasion story arc, yeah, I get why he was there. I totally understand why he was there. Because the world was being invaded. He's part of the world. But when it came to the Infinity Gauntlet story arc, why?
Right.
Yeah, I get it. He could throw a punch, but still, like,
yeah.
No.
Street heroes have a really hard time transferring over.
And the same thing goes for Batman, too.
They kind of need...
The same thing goes for Batman, too.
Right. Batman felt so underclassed in Justice League.
He did.
In the movie.
And that's also what I didn't like about, because, like...
Yeah, no, nobody liked that.
Yeah.
And even like, with the animated shows, and it's why Bruce Timm made the good decision to have Batman as, like, a part-time member of the Justice League and, like, the Justice League Unlimited, was because... When you're around characters like The Flash and Superman, Martian Manhunter,
Captain Marvel,
Green Arrow, like, you are...
Shazam.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You are obviously outclassed.
Yeah.
Like, you just cannot handle the same kinds of threats.
So one of the best episodes of... two-part episodes of Justice League, I will say, was... It opens up with the Justice League is fighting, Batman gets knocked out, he needs to be hospitalized for a minute. And, of course, he's being a stubborn shit. It's the one where he gets captured by Lex Luthor and his cronies. The whole time he's like my favorite part is like he finally escapes, summons the Justice League, and they show up and he's looking at the Joker saying like, I could have escaped at any fucking time. That one whole episode where he tricks Cheetah and everything like that, and essentially bribes Ultra Humanite and everything like that. But that's an episode where he worked.
Yeah, and it's for some of those characters, it's like the only explanation of why they're just not completely murked off the face of the earth is plot armor.
Yeah.
You know, so when you look at characters that can hold up, you know, it's why Bucky got wiped out at the end of Infinity War. It's why Bucky lost every fight that he was in Civil War and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Because he's now classed.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Which is clandestine military operations.
Yeah.
He's not good against
he's
Iron Man.
Yeah, no. Exactly. Well, provided Iron Man has his whole suit, but at any rate.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not teaming up with Captain America to also take on Iron Man, because
Exactly.
that 2v1 is tough.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not 2v1
Exactly.
I would want to be. But I don't think that you're ever going to get a transition of these street heroes into the bigger Marvel universe. I think that, for one, I think it's better that they stay to a smaller screen at the same kind of production value. And it's one thing that, like I was talking about with you earlier, the problem that I have with primetime superhero shows is that they always bite off more than they can chew. And they're always underwhelming to that point. Like, Arrow, I think, is probably the only exception. I'm not going to get into how it's written, just at its core concept.
Right.
Gotham kind of had it going on for a little while, but I think that show is just...
I never got into Gotham. I watched the pilot episode and I was done.
I watched more than a few episodes of it, and it had some good ideas, but I just couldn't get involved into it. I just couldn't get interested. But, like, they bite off more than they could chew, and they're like, we're going to do Smallville, but Superman doesn't really have his powers yet. And it's like, yeah, because you can't afford for him to do his powers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Though there is a rumor that the CW is going to be making a Superman TV show.
Great. I'm sure it'll be terrible.
Well, I mean, it can't be any worse than Supergirl.
Right.
It can't be.
Right. And yeah, like, the whole thing with the Flash. I can't run that fast.
Yes, you can! You fucking ran through time!
Yeah.
You have literally run through time at least, like, a whole set... We're not going to get into it. We're not going to get into it. We're going to wrap this up. But at any rate, so my final thought is, I think we should just get to final thoughts.
All right, my final thought is that this is the year of the Kingpin.
Yes.
2018/2019 is the year of the Kingpin.
Yeah.
He's in Daredevil season 3, and is just killing it by Vincent D'Onofrio. The
guy from Law and Order.
He is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's in the Spider-Man video game. Mm-hmm. Killed it.
Thanks for spoiling that.
He's in the opening scene.
I haven't played the game at all.
Okay, well, he's in the opening scene, so I didn't spoil much.
Okay.
And he's in Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, he's going to be in the Spider-Verse movie?
Yeah, he's in the Spider-Verse movie.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the year of Kingpin.
All right.
He's having a big one.
Good for
him.
him.
And his white suit.
And his white suits.
And purple shirts. Mm-hmm. Big gold belt and walking stick.
I think for me personally, I think what's going to happen is those shows all of them are going to get canceled by Netflix, and then they're just going to hopefully get picked up by Disney.
If they get canceled by Netflix, I don't think they're ever coming back. If they get, I truly believe.
I think Disney has the final say though of what happens to them.
Sure, no, I think that
it's not like they don't have the money for it.
I think that if you cancel those shows and you bring them back on
Disney,
I think what's going to happen is you are going to get a watered-down version of what those shows were. I think that you will get something that more similarly resembles the Arrowverse than we got out of the Netflix universe. I think it's more likely that Marvel will cancel those shows and come up with new IPs to work off of, which I still don't think are going to be as good. I think that this was kind of like that perfect medium golden era age for Marvel like TV shows. I don't know if they're going to be able to get like the lightning in the bottle again.
Right.
I think it would be really difficult to try. They might try. I might be totally wrong, and they might announce that, you know, fuck it, we're doing an Avengers TV series, but we're doing like a West Coast Avengers. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Great Lakes Avengers.
Oh God, Squirrel Girl. That'd be on Freeform actually.
I fucking hate Squirrel Girl. That makes no sense to me.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Dan, thanks for being on the show, as always.
Yep.
And everybody, that's going to do it for us. Hope you all have enjoyed us rambling. And later on next month, just a quick plug, I happen to have a show at the Dime Bar in Los Angeles, California. I believe it is the... God damn it, why don't I fucking do this shit beforehand? Hold on.
Needless to say, he's got a show.
Yeah, I have a show coming up. It is
There will be
November
comedy.
5th at the Dime Bar in Los Angeles. So you should all come out to that. It's a free show. Come by, check it out. Every once in a while, cool people show up. I did a show one time, and Jeremy Piven dropped in for a set. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us. Dan, again, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody. Go Sox.
Go Sox.
Bye.